Hi everyone, it's me again, and this is my second video. And today's video might be a little controversial. I'm not sure how people feel about this, but I have to talk about it first because I think it's a very interesting thing. And second, just because maybe it will make you think a little bit. So, as you may have read in the title, today I'm going to talk about why I think basically COVID gave me cancer. So I need to start with a little backstory on my family. In my first video, I have mentioned that I have cases of cancer in my family, and I want to clarify that I do have cancer both on my maternal and my paternal sides of the family. My grandpa on my dad's side was just recently diagnosed with cancer about a month after I was, so that's a bit sad. But all of the cancer in my family was either organ or skin cancer. And there is one case of leukemia in my grandma's sister. So what would that make her? My grand aunt, my great aunt. She has leukemia. Well, allegedly, her own conspiracy theory on that is that she actually doesn't have leukemia and it was all a hoax by doctors to make her go through chemo and pay them a bunch of money, which I'm not sure how I feel about that, but regardless of that, we don't think that it is related in any way to me because, again, leukemia is a different thing, and also my aunt was exposed to sort of the secondary impact of the Chernobyl tragedy. So she was exposed to sort of medium doses of radiation all the way back in the late 80s, early 90s. And after that, she developed leukemia in her 50s, went through chemo, but then she gave up chemo and she's still alive today, like 20, 25 years later. That's why she thinks she's actually not sick, but we don't know. She doesn't want to go and get checked. So that leaves me with, I think, three proven cases of cancer in my family, one on my mom's side and two on my dad's side. But all of them were organ or skin. I guess skin is an organ. Mine is very different. Mine affects my bone marrow, my blood. So even though it is called cancer, cancer is sort of the umbrella term for a bunch of different diseases, and they can be extremely different from each other, which is the point I'm trying to get across. So mine is random. It was either triggered by something or just developed autonomously based on sheer bad luck, I guess. Now, I'm gonna read a little note from an article that I'm gonna link below in the description or maybe in the comments. It's an article about possible cancerogenic effects of COVID. Because I'm not the first person who's asked this question, and after I read that, I will go into why I think my specific case is possibly also caused by COVID. So, it has been hypothesized that COVID employs various strategies to cause cancer in different organs. These include altering tumor suppressive pathways and triggering inflammatory cascades, paving the way for the emergence of cancer stem cells in target organs. It is proposed that COVID may have long-term life-threatening complications that will be revealed over time. In that way, it resembles HIV, hepatitis B and C, HPV, and Epstein-Barr virus. For example, HIV can cause cancers like Kaposi sarcoma, non-Hodgkin lymphoma, invasive cervical cancer. HPV can cause anal, cervical, penile, and other types of cancer. So based on that, we know that there are viruses that can cause cancer. It is not uncommon or unseen that a virus can have a cancerogenic effect on the body. So again, because COVID is sort of this brand new thing, we don't know the long-term effects. It is not unreasonable to think that COVID might affect your cancer suppressive cells, might stop them from working, or trigger some mutations. We just don't know yet. And again, I'm no scientist and I'm no doctor, so I'm basing this on my personal experience and on a couple articles that I've seen online. And now I'm gonna go into why I think my disease might have been caused by COVID. So, first time I got COVID was end of 2020. More specifically, I think it was just like right at the end of November. So the whole month of December 2020, I spent isolating at home with my ex, and we both had COVID. I got it first and gave it to him, but it was a breeze for him. He got better in like 5 days. I was sick for 3 weeks straight. My symptoms were also a little bit different, I would say. I would have very low body temperature, and I would also constantly be suffocating, even though my oxygen levels were fine and I didn't necessarily have a cough, but I would it was hard for me to breathe. I also didn't have a fever. I did lose my sense of smell and taste, of course, and I was just extremely fatigued, extremely fatigued. I would spend all of my days in bed for 3 weeks straight. And this is where we get into the first blood work that I did. It was end of 2020. My platelet count at that point was 369, which is not a big deal when you see it, if you're a doctor or even a normal person, because the normal amount is around 350. Anything below 350 is considered fine. For men, I think it's 400. So me being sick and having a platelet count of, let's say 370, it checks out. It is normal because, again, your body is fighting, so your blood responds to it with producing more cells. So that's okay, but we already see a slight increase. My next blood work that I dug up during my investigation was a year later, end of 2021. Now this is where I started having questions to the medical professional who was handling this, because my platelet count by that point increased by almost 150. It was 520. So yeah, it's almost exactly 150 in a year. From already being increased end of 2020, it became even higher in 2021 and no one said anything. I remember going to the doctor and asking if my blood test came out fine, and she said, yeah, your cholesterol level is a bit high, just go on a low cholesterol diet and you'll be okay. And she never mentioned anything about me potentially having almost a dangerous amount of platelet cells. Now, I wasn't getting sick with anything, and I didn't go through any weird processes. I didn't get any surgeries, no radiation, nothing. So we can see that end of 2020 is the start of the platelet cell growth or increase, and then 2021 it's already pretty significantly increased. Fast forward end of 2023, we are around 750 to 800. So it is about 150 a year increase. And the only thing that happened to me end of 2020 that might have triggered it is COVID. And again, my experience with COVID the first time was very tough. It was much worse than I expected and much worse than other people my age around me. So I felt very sick with COVID. It was very hard to get rid of it. And then all of a sudden my platelet cells started climbing up and up. And now I know that I developed a rare mutation that is nowhere to be found in my family tree. Again, as far as we know, but none of my mom, dad, grandparents, or great-grandparents had this. And when I asked my doctor if he thinks that COVID has something to do with this, he said that he doesn't know, and there's just no way to know for sure ever. Like, we will probably never know what caused my mutation. He said that it is impossible to know if my bone marrow was sort of destined to mutate or was it a random mutation. There's no way to know that. But I have this, and to me it just checks out with the timeline. I get COVID, my platelet cells start increasing and never stop. To this day, they're increased and they forever will be increased. And let me say this, I don't think the vaccine had anything to do with this, because I got vaccinated in 2021. So I don't think this was vaccines' fault. I know there is a tendency to blame vaccines for a lot of things right now, but I don't believe that it had anything to do with this. Because again, by the time I got my vaccine, the level of platelets in my blood was already increased. So I hope this isn't too controversial. And to be fair, this is the only sort of bad experience with the medical field that I had. Like the fact that back in 2021, no one told me that I had such a significant increase of certain cells in my blood. But that wouldn't really change anything, because at that point I already had cancer. I just didn't know it, and it wouldn't really change the approach. Like, right now I am at the sort of the easiest, lowest medication possible, and I'm still considered very, very early on with the stage of my disease. But yes, it is a bit unfortunate that nobody brought this to my attention. maybe you would have seen this video 2 years ago if someone said something. But other than that, I really think that young people should be more careful around COVID. I think there is a tendency to sort of dismiss it as something so minor and completely unimportant. It's like a cold now. It's like people who are not sick or old don't really take it seriously, which was exactly the case for me. I was just being, I was just being young and stupid. And I think we should be a little more careful and just pay close attention to your health if you are if you are a survivor of COVID. It's not that dramatic. But if you had COVID at some point in your life, which I think is probably like 95% of people, if you had it at some point, just like pay a little bit of a closer attention to your health. If there are no worrisome signs, then that's great, and I wish for you to stay healthy for as long as possible. But if there are, especially if they started after COVID, maybe just don't wait too long before going to the doctor and doing tests. So that was my second video. I hope you liked it or you found it interesting, and if you did, please like this video and tell me what you think about my theory in the comments if you want. And also my next video is probably going to be about the psychological effects of finding out that I have cancer and how it affected people around me and my relationship with people around me. It will probably be a longer video, so it might take me a while to film and edit because I'm very new to all of this and I have no experience whatsoever. I've never edited a video before, so support if you want, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye bye!